Okay, so just something I noticed in the new DESMOS. It wasn't quite as nice in the old one, so I'm going to go through it quickly here. I've got a table of values. This is for the assignment, in case you weren't sure. Got a table of values. When I look at it, it does appear to be sinusoidal. Put this in projector mode. If I put in a general form of the equation. Now the idea of course was that I would take a look at this equation, or to take a look at the graph and say, well, it looks like my amplitude is whatever. It looks like the period here is whatever, and I would put in the correct numbers to make that work. If you put in the equation in the form seen here, just kind of with variables representing each of the values that we're looking for, and click the all, we get sliders which allow us to adjust our various values. Okay, so my suggestion is maybe if you want to, that would be a nice way to do this. You can start with them all set to 0. You can actually click on them to adjust them a little bit more accurately. And then basically I'm looking at, well, if this is my axis of symmetry across the middle here, then and I can put in a little bit more of a full grid if by clicking on step 1 here. So I'm actually putting in a value at each spot. It looks like 2 is where my axis of symmetry is, and my graph goes as high as just over 6, goes as low as around -2, and so 4 seems like a pretty reasonable amplitude to start with here, and so I can put that in. Then basically I can look at the other values. I can see here that I'm going from -1 all the way to 15, so my wavelength, or my period here, is 16. That means that my k value would be 6.28, so 2 pi normally divided by the 16. So we're looking at something in the neighborhood of a half, and that looks like it's fairly close there. So and so on and so on. And obviously I look at this and I see that my value here looks like it's 2 below where it should be, and so I can raise it the full 2, and I'm kind of getting close at this point now. It looks like I maybe shifted over a little bit to the -1 here, and maybe my graph's not quite wide enough, or so on. So sort of get the basic idea, and then I can play with these numbers and determine a pretty good equation for it. Okay, so that's sort of the idea of the assignment today. If you haven't done that, if you just kind of try to do the calculations, of course that was fine, that was my original intent, but seeing the sliders, this is kind of nice.